Welcome to the third review of the evening, and that is The Man with the Ivory Cane. This is another hidden object game ported to the Nintendo Switch by Ocean Media LLC. Worth noting that we did an interview with them like about a month and a half ago. It was fairly recent, though I think we were coming off their last hidden object port. I definitely remember that game being, when, when Angels Cry, Tears of the Fallen Collector's Edition.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, we had reviewed that. And I believe that both of these games are from the same developer.
Same style, so I would not be surprised.
And yeah, since it's a Nintendo Switch game, the Golics took the lead here. So, take it away.
So first, I have a minor correction for you. This is not a hidden object game. It
Oh.
is exactly like a hidden object game, except for it has no actual hidden object puzzles. It effectively comes down to being more or less an adventure game with very limited options, usually. Like, there's a lot of stuff you can't pick up until you get the context clue for it or yada yada. But there's never a thing where they do the classic hidden object puzzle where you just have to stare at a screen with a bazillion things on it and click on the exact things.
Steam tags lied to me.
It's a very drama-based story. You play as a guy who is from America but followed his heart and moved to Paris to do art and stuff. And everything goes fine until one day, after you paint your girlfriend's portrait or something, she gets disappeared, and the cops are after you for something that you're not sure about, that you're pretty sure you didn't do or anything. And then the titular man with the ivory cane shows up and tells you to try and solve what's going on, but obviously he's kind of suspicious too, since he seems to know a lot about what's going on. So a lot of it is just going back and forth between different areas, giving people things they need, or applying the sometimes very specific needed objects to solve certain puzzles or to solve certain environmental interactions. And then occasionally there'll be a lock or something that is a true separate other puzzle, like either a block escape puzzle, which I would call a sliding block puzzle, except that usually refers specifically to the 16 grid ones. This is one of those ones where, I don't know, most of the physical versions I've seen of this have like cars, and it's like gridlock, and you have to like slide the things around to get a specific car out. It's not that. There's one of those. There's the usual rotate the various things to get them into the right organization and stuff like that. The game has a very robust hint and help system, though this one is not a collector's edition that literally has all of the answers in an embedded help file, which honestly would have been handy because there are a couple of puzzles here that I am not good at. So yeah, honestly, that's all there is to it. So I will, I'm not going to spoil the plot or anything, but so here are the issues I had with it. Well, the art style is not an issue. It's more or less the same as it was for Tears of the Fallen, because it's a little bit weird sometimes with semi-realistic backgrounds and trying to be realistic people, but they look weird when they animate. The game crashed at least 3 times for me. There might have been 4. Usually when I'm looking at a puzzle for too long, which I don't know what that's about. And again, I'm going to bring this up. This is a game that if you get it, I'm going to recommend you get the PC version, because mouse is definitely the actual optimal way to play this. On the Switch, it does support touch controls, and otherwise you have the right stick and to move the cursor and right trigger to click. The problem is that is slow and it's hard to drag stuff. But if you're using the drag thing, then you don't get the effect where when you mouse over a thing that's interactable, it shows you that it's interactable. So I think having a on-screen pointer that you can manipulate quickly with a mouse is probably the optimal control scheme. There's also a few really weird... I'm pretty sure this game was translated to English from something else. And some of the weird things... So this takes place in Paris. There's one character that is inconsistently referred to by different characters in the narration as Henry and Henri. I'm not going to ding it for the accents not really matching up, but there are French words sprinkled into some people's dialogue that sound weird with their decidedly not French accents. And there are definitely there's narration of the person who you are saying stuff at times, but you generally don't do much in dialogue, which is weird because sometimes when you approach someone or you're talking to someone, they'll respond as if you had said something, which it's not weird when that happens in a video game with a voiceless protagonist, but this is a game with a definitely voiced protagonist. So it's weird that they're reacting to things you're implied to have said when in other places your character actually says things. So those are the big issues. The story is interesting, and I'd give it a soft recommend for that if it's not too expensive, which I have not actually checked because I don't check that until the end because I prefer to modulate my opinion on that rather than basing it on that. The quality is generally decent. Otherwise, it's just there are a few weird, glitches and stuff. And I think I was not playing it the optimal way. I had something else, but I can't remember what it was. Do you guys have any other questions?
What is the price on the Nintendo Switch version?
Let's see if the computer says, because the Switch is not good at telling you the price of things you already own.
Right. Anyway, the PC version here is clocking in at a humble $6.99. And there's also a mobile version of this game, which is free to start. But if you want to unlock the full game, that'll clock in at $5.99 to $6. So only $1 less on the mobile version. At least I'm looking at the Android version.
Mm-hmm.
Just a second. I need to check on something because that was either thunder or like an explosion or something.
Yeah.
Well then.
As far as the Switch version, I'm getting a pricing unavailable on the Nintendo website, which is odd.
It may have been taken down then?
On the Nintendo.com, it's telling me it's $10 for digital.
There we go.
Okay, apparently it was thunder. It did not seem like the kind of rain that causes thunder. Anyway, it looks like it's $10 on the Switch, which may be a little steep for the quality, but not excessive.
It's also
this is also quite short comparatively. I'm seeing a lot of people who are decent at this can finish it in an hour, in a couple hours. I am almost done, and I think I've been at it for 4 or 5 hours.
Yeah. Also, this is the Nintendo Switch version is the most expensive version of the game.
I mean, of course.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah. Switch Tech isn't anything new, but it's not a huge gap in terms of the game here. It's $3.
Anyway, like I said, I'd recommend getting it on PC over Switch anyway, probably, unless you really prefer touch controls.
And then
Or playing portably.
Yeah, the mobile version.
Yeah. I wonder if the visual quality is any better on. Because sometimes, well, I was not playing on the TV because I wanted to be able to use touch controls. But some of the models, when they move, are a little bit muddy, and I wonder if that would be any better or not.
Mm-hmm.
But that's about all I got. Unless you guys have other questions.
No, I think we're good. At least I am.
Mm-hmm.
I'm good.
All right, then. So that'll about do it for the man with the ivory cane. Be sure to tune in after the break as we'll be reviewing Survive the Blackout.